Good evening. This is Debbie Davis. It is October 7th, 2024. So obviously the news is of this, of this North Carolina disaster. And I think it's, I've been saying this for years now, warning people on my videos about how corrupt our government is getting. So if this isn't a wake up call, I know it is. Finally, people are waking up and people are coming together. But I've been saying it, warning people on my videos for 8 years about how corrupt our government is getting, and you know, they're not trying to save you. They're trying to kill you and take all your money. It's the people that have infiltrated our government. It's the CIA, and the FBI is part of the deep state. The CIA is completely involved in, and the Masons. Now, there's all kinds of Masonic temples in Asheville, North Carolina. There's the Asheville Masonic Temple, their Masonic Lodge. It's a huge Masonic, look at all these Masonic lodges in that area, and I built. There's the Biltmore Masonic Temple in Asheville. There's a Nichols West Asheville Hominy Lodge. Okay, so, and a lot of the police and firefighters are Masons. I wonder if any of the police houses were destroyed, or the firefighters, because that'll kind of tell you something right there. If they, I think a lot of the Masons in that area were probably fully aware this was going to happen, and they were probably prepared. And I bet you anything, their houses are fine. So that should tell you something right there. If all of the police houses are fine and the firefighters' houses are fine, they were probably informed ahead of time. And of course, they could have warned you, but they didn't. This is, these are, I've had these Masons. They're part of the police. They're part of the fire. They've been a huge part of my targeting, the targeted individual program. And so, that's a federal crime right there. If they were aware of a crime that's about to happen, that is a federal offense. So if they were aware in any way that this was happening ahead of time and didn't inform the people, that's treason. It's crimes against humanity, and it's also a federal offense. So, if you look it up, if a federal agent is aware of a crime and does nothing, I forgot what kind of crime it is. It is a federal offense, I know. Okay, so I can't find it at the moment, but yeah, if they are aware of a federal, if they're aware of a crime, like if an FBI agent or whatever is fully aware of something that's about to happen, and they don't do anything, they don't take action upon it, they can, for sure, they can be disciplined. And same thing if the police were aware. Or, I'm not saying that all police are Masons, but, apparently a good portion of them are. But if they were aware, any of these Masons in that city were aware of this and didn't say anything, that they could be held accountable for that. If all of their houses are fine, that's probably a good sign that they were probably aware or had a heads up in some way. So I just wanted to mention that. We just can't trust any of our government agencies. I've tried this for years, going to government agencies to try to get help as a whistleblower. Nothing. And then, with this, getting wrongfully fired, and a lot of veterans are having a hard time getting any work right now. I mean, we're on the big do not hire list now. I mean, because we're considered, some kind of a threat to these Masons, I guess, because they're anybody that's part of the New World Order. A lot of the veterans, we're still patriots, and a lot of veterans are having a hard time finding work. So I got wrongfully fired, and I still to this day have never, gotten an actual letter that I was supposed to get as to why I was fired. They were supposed to provide that to me, so I went to the Department of Labor and reported that in St. Paul. And this isn't the first time that I've gone to the Department of Labor in St. Paul. Because in 2022, and they had a record of me going there before, I think it was 2022, because I kept getting fired from these temp jobs. They would I'd work and then they'd never hire me, or they'd fire me for no reason. And and they were supposed to, you file a complaint and they're supposed to investigate, give you a number, somebody's supposed to follow up. And the same thing, I just went there 2 months ago now, or a month, and filed another complaint. And I said they never provided me with my file that I requested or the reason why they let me go. And they were supposed to assign somebody to my case and investigate. Nope. Never got a phone call back. I mean, these agencies, they don't even bother. Don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time going to the Department of Labor. I mean, they're all completely infiltrated. They're either Masons or some part of the deep state, or whoever is managing them has been, told them not to help certain people or whatever the case is. I mean, it's just, I've done this. This is 13 years of this now since I've been a whistleblower. So you don't even bother going to the Department of Labor and trying to say anything, because they won't follow up. They didn't the first time and they didn't this time. So, anyway, I mean, this is a disaster, a complete disaster in North Carolina. And I mean, and then, they're not giving any, even when you do apply for the $750, they're being denied the money. I mean, it's just, I remember when this happened. So I've talked about this before. This happened. I was in a situation similar in Texas when the grid went down, and we still, I guess, to this day really don't know what happened. It was 3 years ago, 2021, and the grid went down in Texas when I was at the trailer park down there, just getting out of the winter here, and so for a whole week, we had no internet. They have no internet up here, and so you have no idea of knowing even when the internet is going to come back on. You have no idea where to look up, where to get gas. There was only certain gas stations open, and I don't know why. It was like some of them were in on it and some of them weren't. I mean, to me, it was really, really, really suspicious the way that certain gas stations were open and certain weren't. Okay, what did some of them have generators, or did some of them were some why were some gas stations open in Texas and some of them weren't? I mean, if the power's on, I mean, I don't know. So only certain gas stations worked. Maybe it's because they had generators, or maybe they were. I don't know. It was really, really suspicious the way. So we didn't know because we were huddling in our cars. So we were, needed gas just to survive through that, and then, we had some barbecue things going, or just burning charcoal or wood or whatever we could do to and because it was we were in freezing tin cans. It was 40 degrees. It definitely wasn't the type of weather that Texas is used to, and so they definitely weren't prepared for anything like that. And you forget the little things that happen because you need water for everything. And even when the electricity is down, even you have no running water, and also your toilets don't work either. and then your food, of course, goes bad in just a few days. So, I mean, it's just like everything just starts, it's just a disaster, like really quickly, you know. But you forget like about the little things like that, like how, you don't have any running water at all for washing, brushing teeth, for, the toilet, because all the septic systems, run off, even the wells, they run off, electricity. So, so it's yeah. So I mean, but on a positive note, I mean, it's bringing people together. That is the positive side of this, is that we have to rely on each other. We can't. But I mean, I get frustrated because I've been trying to warn people on my videos for years. I've been trying to warn people about how corrupt our government is, and really we have to take matters into our own hands. And I've been trying to say this for years now, and I've just been, harassed to death just for doing these videos. But if I don't do the videos, and it doesn't seem to matter whether I do the videos or not, they're still harassing me either way. It's just these people need to be arrested. People that are committing and involved in these crimes, and denying this aid to these people, those people need to be arrested. We have to just, start arresting people that are committing crimes against humanity. That's what it is. It's crimes against humanity, and I don't know why certain places even have funding. I don't have any idea why the FBI is funded. I mean, I've proven multiple times on my channel what a joke they are. You call their office, they just hang up on you. I mean, they're all of their field offices are like that. I've tried multiple different ones. We tried the one in South Dakota too, the FBI, because we had so much corruption in our county, and it's still, there's still a lot of issues there in the county that I have property in South Dakota, and we had a murder that happened there and stuff like that, and multiple like really serious things, and they there was, like, my friend Paul Register, who I had on my channel. I mean, he submitted like a whole packet to the FBI, and they never got back to him. I mean, he did a lot of work preparing it. I mean, it's just it's just like don't even bother. These people just need to be defunded and removed from their positions. I don't know what else to say. But I mean, like, just all of these agencies, including the United Nations. Here's a picture of the statue in front of the United Nations building. Basically, it's the Antichrist beast. It says in the book of Revelations, the Antichrist is going to be, okay, here, let me look. Like a leper. Okay, let me just read this Bible verse real quick. It says his feet will be, he will look like a leopard. So it's like a cat, like a leopard. And then see, they're not letting me search anything right now. Okay. Oh yeah, they're totally. Oh, I'm sorry. I have it on places. Okay, I had it. Okay. So it says, this is right in front of the United Nations building. Okay, so it says the Antichrist in Revelations 13:2. It says the beast was like a leopard. I see, so they have that skin kind of looked like leopard looking. His feet were like those of a bear. He's got the big feet like those of a bear, and his mouth like a lion. Doesn't he look like a lion mouth there? Okay. The dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority. And that's right in front of the United Nations building in New York. Okay? So that should tell you a lot about the United Nations building that pretends to be for humanitarian purposes. Okay? Yeah, it's right outside the headquarters on the Visitors Plaza. Okay, so let's see. It says, so this is a whole article that somebody did about it here. And okay, the Antichrist to rise up and consume. Okay. It's they try to say it's a guardian for the United Nations. They try to say it's the guardian for international peace and security. Okay, they try to say it's a guardian jaguar and eagle. No, I don't think that's what it is. It's because the wings. I think it's it's a depiction of the Antichrist and Lilith. Lilith has wings. Lilith is a demonic character, and well, she's more than a character. She's okay. So but they try to blow it off and say that it's a guardian and an eagle. No, I don't think so. Okay, so Daniel, I saw in my vision by night the four winds of heaven. Daniel, in Daniel 7, it says, I saw in my vision by night the four winds of heaven stirring up the great sea, and four great beasts came up out of the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Then, as I watched, its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the ground and made to stand on 2 feet like a human being, and a human mind was given to it. Okay. He says it's a beast. So it's not a guardian, it's a beast. Okay. Okay, so let's see what I'm just reading this article here. So in Revelations 13:2, and the beast that I saw was like a leopard, its feet were like a bear, and its mouth was like a lion's mouth. And the dragon gave it power and his throne of great authority. Okay. It's a blending of 4 beasts from Daniel's visions. First was like a lion. Second one, it looked like a bear. Another appeared like a leopard. John looks a little closer home with the Roman Empire. These previous empires pale in comparison to the breadth and might of Rome. Okay. Just reading through this article here. All right. So basically, they're basically just trying to figure out what this, what this represents, really. And so anyway, and then somebody pointed this out in a video. This is the inside of the Vatican. It's a hall inside the Vatican. It looks just like a snake. That's the hall of the Vatican. Inside the Vatican, it looks just like a snake. So anyway, now that I do have internet, I was going to see what it says about if you are a federal official and you know about a crime but you don't report it. Let's see what it says. Okay. Okay. Misprision of felony. A person who witnesses activity or knows about a certain activity but doesn't do anything, it's called misprision of a felony. Okay, so if the Masons in that area were aware this disaster was going to happen and they didn't inform the people or try to help them, um, yeah, failure to report a crime or do anything about it is called misprision of a felony. If someone is aware of a felony but fails to act, yeah, it is a crime. I knew it was. You can be prosecuted. Okay, assume you are a witness. Okay, but it's for sure. It applies to people if they're already if they're in uniform. Because they're already under an oath to be doing their jobs, and then on top of it, of something, and then you don't do anything. It's aiding and abetting, and it's failure to report a criminal offense is known as misprision of a felony. And if someone is aware of a felony but fails to disclose, then it's called misprision. Okay, so I think I think somebody should do some investigations into the authorities there, and into like not just the police or the fire. I mean, I'm talking about all the authorities. How much were they aware of the situation coming? How did it happen so fast? Who was aware, and why didn't they try to warn people? I mean, this is a whole. This is what, like 1,000 people died now, 900 people. I mean, so I would. I think this is like a major investigation, and all the people involved that didn't do anything to help warn people. They can very much be charged with misprision to a felony. And I think that needs to happen. So, sick of this. Where we are so meek, or like people are not. People are. It doesn't. You don't have to. You're not being mean if you're standing up for your rights. And it's self-defense. I think we can figure that out now, that this is self-defense against our own government. There's people talking now how this was there's apparently a lithium mine there, and Kamala Harris's husband has a lot of stakes in that mine, in that lithium mine. He's a big shareholder, Kamala Harris's husband. So I'm sorry, does that have something to come into play there? Like where, okay, let's just get rid of the people so we can mine the lithium. We're talking people who have no conscience in many positions of our government. So, we have to be more vigilant and aware of the type of behavior that they, we are dealing with a certain people that like are psychopaths, that have no conscience. And so, you have to be aware of what they could be capable of next. If they already are aware of capable of this, then what else are they going to do? I've been seeing this now for years and trying to warn people. I mean, the people that have been after me have absolutely no conscience about what they're doing, even though I'm an honorable veteran and I didn't do one thing wrong. They didn't care. They were pulling me over. They didn't care. I mean, this has been nonstop for me of being a whistleblower. It's because I speak out, but it doesn't seem to matter if I'm speaking out or not. They just keep coming after me, and I think part of it is because I'm a woman too, and the guys, a lot of it is their ego, I think. It has nothing to do. It should have nothing to do if I'm a man or a woman. I'm a legitimate whistleblower. why do you keep harassing me? You're just making me, you're just making yourself look dumb. And it's like nonstop. Like, I mean, and then it's just nonstop stuff. Like, we had, I talked about this thing months back where they were illegally in our sewer, right around here. And then, they're like, that's one thing I don't trust when they're always working on the sewer, because I don't know if they're doing something else when they're down there in the water lines. Because they've done that in Phoenix when I was outside of my apartment complex there. After I became a whistleblower, they were out working on the sewer, on the street. Okay, and then here they're out working on the sewer right in front of me. Then, right down the road they're working on the sewer. It's just like, and then, you have to understand there's all these T's in the sewer lines that directly connect to the water lines too. So how do you know they're working on the sewer, or they're not going in there and doing something to the water? We don't. I mean, we have to be aware of all these type of things. These people, that's one of their favorite tricks, is to poison people with the water. And the water supply in North Carolina, I mean, gosh, I don't have any idea like how it's just probably completely ruined by now, the whole water supply. So, this is a big issue. And what else? And how far does it extend to the other communities? I'm sure I'm sure it affected the other communities around there. Their whole water supply is completely polluted, I'm sure too. So, the water issue is becoming like a really big deal. And I had a couple pictures that I shared, some of them in my shorts, where I'm driving by. This is in Champlin, Minnesota, just a bit north of here. And I was just, it's just right off the freeway. So it's not like, you're not going to notice. But they had this big cover over the water tower. And I just, I drove around and I was just like, what are you doing? Why is this thing covered? And, there was just some people outside, and they look, I don't know, it wasn't clear what they were doing, but I said, what are you doing? Why do you have it covered? And they said, well, we're painting it. And then I'm like looking at them like, painting it? You don't need to cover a whole water tower to paint it. In fact, it's the opposite. When you paint it, you let it dry. You don't cover it. I mean, they, they obviously weren't prepared for anybody asking them questions, because that didn't make any sense. And then I'm down in Shakopee, as I was going to Mike Lindell's outlet, the My Pillow guy, and checking that out because I've never been there before. And that's in Shakopee, Minnesota. And I'm just driving back from there, and I see the same thing. I see the Shakopee water tower covered, and and this is it was the same thing, and so to me it seems like they're trying to do something shady when they have it covered. Like, they're going in and probably, have somebody probably going in and putting something in the water. I think they are really trying to target our water. And so, we have to all be really aware and on the lookout for people going in the water supply, in the sewer areas, in the water towers, because they can very easily poison your whole city with this. So, I just want to warn people, and like I said, the whole communities in North Carolina, like, how, if that whole area is complete disaster water-wise, it's probably going to extend to all the communities all around. This is just like a total disaster. We can't let this type of thing happen, and we have to be more aware, before this type of things, so these things can't, we're aware beforehand instead of letting it happen. So, okay, just wanted to do this video tonight. But I am really glad to see people coming together, and because clearly our FEMA is not helping, and clearly this is a wake-up call, and people are waking up, thankfully, and maybe this is sometimes what it takes, unfortunately, for people to wake up and realize that there is really a problem in our government, And it's really not our government anymore. It's not the American people. I mean, we've been infiltrated. We've been infiltrated by the CIA and the Masons. You know, they're part of the deep state and they're part of the New World Order. And so it's really not, we really don't have a government anymore. It's just, it's people pretending to be our government, that have really been paid off in some way or taken bribes or whatever. And I've seen this being infiltrated because I know it because I was reaching out to so many people for this whistleblower thing, and I just couldn't believe what was happening, you know, in the military and stuff like that. And I couldn't believe how many people were involved or paid off or something. I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was a real wake up call. So, okay,